Hello everyone, welcome back again to my channel. Before watching this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Now let's start this video. History worst oil rig explosions, spills and accident. Workers exert astronomical pressures on the Earth's foundation using power to drill and extract the planet's natural resources deep within the ground. Whether offshore in the Gulf or in the oil fields of West Texas and the northeastern United States, oil rig workers are among the most skilled and most at-risk workers in the nations. Oil companies must take extreme precaution during all parts of the drilling process to avoid disaster. Even one mistake or missafety procedures can lead to a catastrophic blowout. Unfortunately, oil companies often cut corners to save time and money. In doing so, they put the lives of the workers at risk. Fires and explosions that occur on oil rigs are some of the most devastating types of offshore accident that can ever happen. The injuries workers sustain from oil rig accidents result in long-term consequences for themselves and their families. In January 1969, Union Oil began drilling a fifth oil well on their offshore platform A, just over 5 miles from the coast on Santa Barbara. On the morning of January 2008, the well blew out, spewing oil and gas. The explosion cracked the seafloor in 5 places and released 1,000 gallons of oil an hour. A second blowout in a different well followed on February 24. Eventually, the California coastline will be devastated by 3 million gallons of crude, the largest oil spill in the nation's history until the Exxon folders 20 years later. The destruction was both so immense and so visible that it sparked the environmental advocacy movement as we know it. The spill led to the signing of the National Environmental Policy Act, which required the creation of environmental impact reports on major projects. The spill created a cultural moment too. For the first time, regular Americans were deeply concerned with the environmental health. The following year marked the first time the United States celebrated Earth Day. In March 1980, one of the deadliest oil rigs accidents in history occurred due to a fatigue crack caused by a bad weld job 6 mm wide. On March 27, more than 200 oil rig workers were aboard the Alexander L. Killen, a floating hotel for off-duty operators that include a cinema among its amenities. The oil platform was owned by Stavanger Drilling Company, but it was being used by Phillips Petroleum at the time. In the evening, while the men were enjoying their off hours, the wind outside had picked up to 45 miles per hour with 40-foot waves. Around 6:30 p.m., the men report hearing a loud crack, later determined to be the snapping of 5 anchor cables. The 6th cable barely held, preventing the platform from capsizing. However, because there was a poor command structure above the Killen, most of the men did not attempt to escape the platform. Within 20 minutes, the 6th anchor cable snapped and the platform capsized. Of the 7 5-man lifeboats and 20-man rafts, only 1 lifeboat and 2 rafts were able to release from the lowering cables. Of the 212 men aboard, 123 were killed. The tragedy led to new requirements for lifeboat hooks and new command structures to facilitate faster abandonment of sinking vessels. The Ocean Ranger was a mobile offshore drilling rig that sank near Canada in February 1982 while drilling an exploratory well for Mobil Oil of Canada. The evening of February 14, 1982, Ocean Ranger and nearby vessel were hit by a rogue wave. The oil platform was heard over the radio describing how a porthole window was broken, allowing water to enter the palace control room. The vessel was getting hit by waves 65 feet or higher, while the porthole window was only at 28 feet. After midnight, Ocean Ranger reported they were listing 10 until 15 degrees. At around 1 a.m., local authorities and mobile helicopters were alert to the situation. All nearby vessels were asked to assist the platform, which was still leaning 10 degrees to the left. The Ocean Ranger transmitted a final message that they were abandoning ship. The destruction of the Deepwater Horizon is one of the worst offshore disasters in the recent memory. The rig, owned by Transocean and drilling for BP, exploded and caught fire on April 20, 2010 off the Louisiana coast. The oil rig explosion was preceded by numerous red flags. In 2009, BP engineers were concerned that the materials they want to use for drilling would buckle under pressures. Rig workers believed they would be fired for raising safety concerns, but many were concerned that the equipment was unreliable and required maintenance. Oil rig explosions are like plane crashes. They are rare, but when they occur, there is usually a tremendous loss of life. Greg McCormack, director of the Petroleum Extension Service at the University of Texas, said these events are low probability with a high consequence. Like plane crash, oil rig explosions are almost always due to human error, which is why it's vital to hold oil companies accountable when something goes terribly wrong. The Merchant Marine Act of 1920, known as the Jones Act, gives seamen the right to bring a personal injury action against their employer. The law requires employers to keep safe working conditions, seaworthy vessels, and properly maintain equipment. If your employer has not properly maintained oil rig mechanism and kept the vessel a safe place to work, you may be able to sue them for injuries you suffered as an employee. Inadequate medical supplies of vessel, insufficient lifeboats, and slippery decks are also violations of the Jones Act. An injured worker filing a lawsuit under the Jones Act must do so within 3 years of the date of the injury. This means you should act quickly to find a lawyer to help you evaluate your personal injury case. If you have been injured or lost a loved one in oil rig accident, it's a good idea to consult a personal injury lawyer about your case. An experienced attorney can evaluate your injury or wrongful death case, provide you with solid legal advice, and represent you. Then the attorneys will offer you a free case evaluation during which they will discern the details of your case, including where the injury occurred, your benefits under workers' compensation, your current and potential medical bills, what your employer's insurance company will cover, and other pertinent information. Witness interviews, review of your medical records, investigation into vessel's conditions, and an understanding of the Jones Act and other laws will guide the next steps. Ultimately, your lawyer will help you file your claim and work hard to secure the damage, including compensation for medical expenses, financial losses, and pain and suffering you deserve. Workers' injury on the rig should at least be eligible to receive workers' compensation benefits. Additionally, if it is discovered that the employer deliberately placed on the employee in the way of harm and caused serious injury or death, the employee is eligible to file a claim against the employer. If the rig injury resulted from faulty equipment, the employee can also file a claim against any responsible third parties. Oil drilling companies are sued all the time, but there are only a few law firms that they take seriously. When injured offshore workers need someone to help them secure lost wages, recover medical expenses, and rebuild their futures. If an oil rig accident has caused fatalities, the deceased person's family can bring a suit for wrongful death. Family members can bring a lawsuit for the pain and suffering, as well as medical treatment, physical therapy, medications, and lost wages of the deceased. Okay everyone, that's all this article today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Until the next one, bye bye.